office of the mayor, which is on page 30. And in this office, just small increase this year's budget just related to some capital city absences that weren't in the original budget, and just an adjustment to the health insurance. And then next year, pretty 200 flat number for next year. Sorry, I'm going to bring that sheet up. And really, there's no other expenses except personal services in this department. And then there's personal services.
Has the new chief of staff started yet?
Well, it's executive director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just the time that the budget was this position was just, we didn't update the position on there.
Okay.
That's really, there's no miscellaneous budget or anything like that. Pretty simple. As we go to our next part, it'll be pretty simple as well too. That's why we constantly save the best for last, I guess, huh? Mayor's office, and then next one is city council. And that is on, sorry, a couple pages before, that's on page 28. And this is, again, mostly all related to personal services, which is obviously yourselves and your administrative person. The only changes you have is next year there is a $6,400 change that was presented, I believe, by the chairman. There was $3,500 in capital outlay, which is an estimate there for Bob Thompson tablets.
And we'll have to decide what you all prefer or whatever, but basically we're holding off to wait to see when the new company kind of tells us what's best, what works better or whatever. So, I mean, that might be tweaked a little bit depending on what we choose to get, whether tablets or...
This would be used in there instead of being paper or...
Yes, preferably, yeah, hopefully. That was the goal the first time, but with this new system coming in, I think it'll be a lot more easier to do or whatever. The issue was on the last tablets, they were too small, and then when you wanted to click on the documents in the back, it didn't explain just the document there, so you might see an E instead of the whole paper.
Our tablets are going to be this big for my...
I don't know, I was thinking maybe something like Jason's got there or whatever, so, we'll all decide once we get basically the new company to come in and kind of say, hey, this is what probably works best for us and stuff. I know Dan probably won't want one.
Dan wants all these.
Dan likes the stacks.
My recommendation, take it for what it's worth. That may not be enough. I would tell you to get the right things so they're usable, like these Surface Pros or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty, you can use it
They're
as a
great.
tablet and a laptop.
Or the iPad Pros, they're great, but they're also $1,000 or $1,200
Right.
each. So you may not have enough in the budget, but that, I mean, we can amend the budget.
That's what I
as
was
needed.
kind of, I was thinking maybe 400 or 500 or something, but I didn't know, if it was tablets, it might be, but I figured we might have to do a budget amendment there, or a little bit,
Or reallocate the portion to everybody
There you
else.
go. Yeah, we can do that.
I give you guys 50 cents of every dollar.
So Jason, what is the total benefits for city council?
Pretty much just Social Security, Medicare, FICA.
Oh,
There's you have to pay no matter what, pretty much. So that's just the benefits there. No health insurance, none of those insurances, just the FICA, Social Security, Medicare.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, I have not, I keep forgetting to reach out to, but that's just basically a card thing. We're just changing her appointment from council, or her title from council secretary to, council executive assistant, kind of let her.
In the 1917 contract, there's executive secretary, confidential secretary, deputy clerk, so I think that's why I think you guys can call her whatever you want.
Right, yeah.
But I think that's how she ended up as confidential secretary, because you have your,
Yeah, your positions in 1970.
Oh, gotcha.
That's disclosed or no.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, I was executive secretary, W.
And confidential secretary should be the secretary that is allowed in on some of our meetings.
I agree, yeah, and that's
Yeah,
been
because she is
discussed
confidential, and if
already.
anything ever got out, then she wouldn't be
Yeah.
our secretary
No,
anymore.
and I've made that, I think the only issue is, talking, it's kind of vague, but definitely contractual, and Michelle knows that.
Well, and if you had asked
Anything
me, I think we
contractual,
were talking about that.
and if it's possibly a member of her union that
That's
we're
what I mean.
discussing,
That's what I mean.
so.
I think that would be the only reason why she would.
Correct, yeah,
should
that
be
was
in.
what, that was part of the discussion, we're gonna pretty much finalize that, but, I made it, Michelle's my right hand, when I'm at work or whatever, I call her, she updates me, so, there are things that she needs to be in on, that
Well, she does, she takes like the first step for anything.
Absolutely.
And then lets us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's things that we didn't know, she
Correct,
knows.
yeah, if she
So-
can handle it, she does,
She
and then
does.
usually updates us, she'll send an email, hey, I received a call from this one,
Exactly.
and then,
I
if
sent
that
the
person isn't
information to that
satisfied with
person.
her, hey, maybe one of you guys should call her, or stuff like that, and when we interviewed for that position, that was something that we all wanted on council, that we wanted somebody that can handle those things, and then if they can't, then it goes on us, it just takes a lot off our plate, while we're at other jobs and doing all that stuff, and as you can see, she does a great job at that. And Susie does as well.
When are we gonna are we gonna move any money whatsoever to us in reference to an attorney for the council, or are we gonna wait?
Well, if we did that, it would just be added, we would add we talked about this last year, yeah, what we would do is we would just add that person to our list of legal.
But they would only handle us.
Correct. That would be part of the agreement. So we would okay it, and then their amount,
Right.
and then they would fall under that umbrella of our list of lawyers. That's what you said last time, right, Jason?
What's that? Sorry, one more
Like,
time.
remember we talked last year briefly about, like, if council wanted to get a third-party representation that, if there was something we wanted to dispute or something, that we had our own person that we could go to in that type of matter.
If
And we would
if
just
you
add
chose,
that.
it would come, we have a corporation council expense line, and so
Correct.
it would all be coming out of that.
Okay.
It wouldn't come out of the council's budget per se, it would be in a corporation
Right,
council
right.
budget.
We would just have to add him to that list, or her.
Again, yeah, we,
Okay.
right now, we use attorneys, are all kind of like on a list of
Right.
people who we approved, years ago,
Right.
or the case is, so.
Could
we
the,
add 'em.
could the attorney be directly budgeted to the council, strictly to the council?
I don't see, I personally, from a accounting or budget point of view, I don't see why not.
Okay.
From a legal.
So we could have basically our own budgeted attorney inside of our account, and he wouldn't have nothing to do with the city except for us, basically us.
Well, he would still be being paid out of the account. I mean, we probably could.
You transfer the, it would just come out of this.
Yeah, it would be tough to budget that, but, we could do that.
I mean, you could add a line item in, under the
Right.
city council
Exactly.
department for legal services, absolutely.
Okay.
It all comes out of general fund.
All right.
I didn't say took that, you see Lions took that tight end?
No, I was, my
Yeah.
son's been updating me.
Yeah.
I haven't heard.
Because it's
since.
the guy, it's like, chicken's in, and then, but, tight end?
I like how you
Right, just look over
I
the
think
lines.
the-
Anybody got any questions on council? If
don't know.
not, we'll let Jason wrap it up.
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, yeah, so that's, went through all departments, so basically, just going forward, next steps. So basically, again, during these meetings, we had a couple adjustments that we gotta make, a handful of adjustments, so I will make those adjustments tomorrow. I will send out the amended document with the adjustments, all itemized, so that, you can see the adjustments. been ordered by the mayor's office first, making sure that they're comfortable with the adjustments before we send it out. And then on top of that, we'll send out the other documentations for the other items in the meeting. It's pretty standard, it's every year we have a couple items in regards to the levy, the truth in taxation calculation, things like that. We'll prepare a memo that kind of describes it. And the truth in taxation calculation is just an annual requirement that the city has to do to show that the tax rate that we're levying is not in any kind of violation of Headley or Proposal A or things like that. But the interesting of the memo is that it calculates what that is. And then I kind of go into, okay, this is how much money we're losing because of the Headley Proposal A amendment. So I kind of go over that as a little neat thing to go over. So, okay, we have this proposal Headley that were back in the 90s that were implemented, and again, we had to roll back our villages for those, and then I kind of calculate because of it what we're losing in tax revenue because of those rollbacks. So I did, like I said, preliminary numbers. I got it from Jerry the other day. I'm going to finalize those, get those paper out to you guys tomorrow. But there is no rollback this year, which is nice. So our base tax rate's higher than 1, so that means there is no rollback of our villages. We haven't had a rollback in, I think the last rollback maybe was definitely before I was here the first time. So I think it was around 2007 when we actually had a rollback, so that's nice. That we haven't had a rollback in that long time, so. But that's about it, and, so everything then on the 30th, we have the council meeting where we already had the public hearing, but, still everything else, like, public can still comment they want during comment area of the agenda item, so. I think there's only like 3 or 4 items.
I sent the agenda out
Yeah.
today, so. Yeah, posted it.
So yeah, so when I send you documents, if you have a question on the other documents, the budgets, again, we went through all the budgets, but if you have a question on the other documents that are part of the meeting, feel free to reach out to me beforehand, or, if you ask a question during the meeting, that's fine. That's it, that's pretty self-explanatory. And just, the only thing just to remember is per charter that the budget has to be approved by May 1st, on or before May 1st, so. If there is discussion or something like that, just remember the meeting's on the 30th, so it doesn't give us that much time to make too much changes, but, if there is any, but say is that.
What's the penalty if you didn't do it?
What's that?
What would they do if you didn't do it?
It would be a fine, either be, the state or the auditors would say something, the state would send us a letter stating that, you're thinking technically it's a charter violation too, so whatever that is, that's, I think it's, was it misdemeanor or something, or whatever the case is, but, yeah, it's a charter violation, so. Haven't done one yet, and I don't plan on starting myself, so. But anyways, so that's kind of a nutshell what to expect over, tomorrow and then next week, so. And then we go from there.